Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 31, Batman's Fear. Every Gotham citizen sitting in front of the TV tonight was shocked by Carl's power. Compared to NY, where mutants haunt, Gotham is undoubtedly much cleaner. Even mutants rarely appear in this place. It can be said that before this, many people in Gotham had never seen a powerful super ability user with their own eyes. Although Carl didn't show any special super abilities, his ability to pick up ordinary people like chickens and then crush them to death is not something ordinary people can do. It can be said that the citizens of Gotham who clearly saw the death of the Riddler had never imagined that this famous super criminal with high IQ would die like this. Carl's sudden appearance was beyond everyone's expectation. Watching the Riddler whose neck was crushed and who was so dead that he couldn't die on the TV screen, many viewers felt chills in their backs. And the criminal sitting in front of the TV swallowed with difficulty. Both ordinary people and criminals were shocked by the way Carl acted. This man in a black battle suit shot too quickly, facing the enemy without the slightest sloppiness. Watching the Riddler being crushed to death by Carl, the entire Gotham City fell into a few seconds of silence. But then cheers sounded in Gotham City. Ordinary citizens who have been affected by criminals sitting in front of the TV are very excited, because these criminals have finally been brought to justice. Good kill. This is how this super criminal should end up. Those who can't be cured by the police in Gotham can only be punished by such heroes. God of War in black. My hero. Carl naturally ignored the hustle and bustle of Gotham City. Looking at the dead Riddler with limp hands, Carl casually threw the Riddler's body on the ground beside him like throwing trash. Noticing that the camera set up in front was still transmitting live broadcasts, Carl slowly stepped forward and crushed it before focusing on Harley. Although Harley's hands and feet were tied to a chair and her mouth was sealed with tape, there was no look of fear on her face. The pair of eyes looking at Carl can still clearly see the excitement. Thinking of Harley's already crazy personality, Carl shook his head helplessly in his heart. Sure enough, these psychiatrists are not normal except themselves. Reaching out to break the rope that bound Harley Quinn, Carl was about to dodge and leave, but his powerful hearing suddenly caught the sound of footsteps from two different directions. After using supervision to look around, the two figures that caught Carl's eyes made him frown. One looks like a Batman from the director's cut, and the other looks like a Catwoman from the Dark Knight movie. Ignoring Harley, who wanted to say something, Carl stepped a little, and the wind-blown figure disappeared into the room. When Harley came back to his senses, there were only white A4 papers flying all over the room. Going away, Harley glanced at his right hand. As Carl broke the rope for her, Harley caught a familiar scent coming from Carl. It always feels like a very familiar smell. Why can't I remember it? Harley murmured, his face full of puzzlement. With the help of the butler Alfred, the location of the live broadcast signal from the Riddler was quickly locked by Batman. But when he heard that the Riddler had been crushed to death by the guy who suddenly appeared and the signal was cut off, Batman thought about it and rushed over to the location of the Riddler's body. Using the hook lock to pull, Batman is moving quickly on the roof as if he has light skills. When Batman was still tens of meters away from the Riddler's body, he seemed to notice something while galloping on the roof, and his steps stopped suddenly. Looking up to the sky, Batman's pupils suddenly constricted when he saw the figure in sight. Above Batman's head, Carl in a black Superman battle suit was floating there, watching him condescendingly. The Bat Vigilante in Gotham City is really not a legend. It seems that you really exist. Batman. Carl's words that seemed to confirm something made Batman's heart freeze. The guy mentioned by the butler Alfred just now turned out to be him. For Carl, Batman is not too strange. Batman has actually seen the news reports about Carl. But Batman never expected that this mutant who was active in NY would come to Gotham. What do you want to do in Gotham? Batman asked with a hoarse voice. Just passing by. Feeling that Batman seemed to be afraid of him, Carl shrugged. At the same time, Carl also began to carefully look at the appearance and shape of Batman in front of him. If I'm not mistaken, the appearance of the Batman in front of me seems to be very similar to that of the director in Ganglion. It's just that the face under the mask is relatively young. In addition to the rumor that the Dark Knight has only recently become popular in Gotham City, I think Batman has just debuted. Carl confirmed Batman's appearance, and moved his eyes to the direction opposite to Batman's. There is also a figure approaching here quickly in that direction. But that figure was a woman with a beautiful appearance and dexterity like a cat. Is this woman the Catwoman of Gotham City? And it looks like Hathaway. Carl narrowed his eyes. Whether it's the Batman in front of him or the Catwoman approaching here from another direction, both of them have masks on their faces. How can ordinary masks block Superman with see-through ability? Unless that mask is made of lead. But it is basically impossible for people in this world to know Superman's weakness. After all, there is no shadow of other Kryptonians in this world except Carl. Noticing that Batman was staring at him, Carl had no interest in talking. A little below, Carl's body was wrapped in a gust of wind, and he flew away under Batman's gaze. Staring blankly at Carl's disappearing figure, Batman rubbed the center of his brows. His strong bat instinct told him that there would be many opportunities to meet this man in the future. Chapter 32. Catwoman's real name is Selina Kyle, and she is a thief who targets all kinds of precious works of art such as jewelry and cultural relics. In this Gotham City full of a large number of crimes, Catwoman's theft technology can be said to be unique. Thinking of Catwoman's shape and some settings, Carl, who was flying towards the location of Catwoman, felt a little speechless. The Catwoman in this world is so beautiful, she can clearly rely on her appearance for a living, but she still wants to use handicrafts to improve her living standards. I don't know if it's a weird hobby. Then, another figure from the Marvel world appeared in Carl's mind. That figure's name is Black Cat, an anti-hero from the Marvel universe. Black Cat and Catwoman are almost like twins, even the clothes and hero titles are very similar. Carl remembered that the Black Cat's name was Felicia Hardy. Felicia is also a female thief, and she looks more like a black cat in a night uniform. Although the uniforms of the two are similar, the hair color of Catwoman is quite different. The Catwoman in front of her has long golden brown hair, while Felicia Hardy has conspicuous long silver hair. Carl feels speechless every time he thinks of a character with the same type of setting. When American comics became popular that year, Marvel and DC simply borrowed from each other, which also led to many characters having similarities. Carl can name a bunch of these characters at will. For example, DC's Aquaman Arthur and Marvel's Aquaman Namor. DC's Deathstroke and Marvel's Deadpool, DC's The Flash and Marvel's Quicksilver. There is also DC's villain Darkseid and Marvel's villain Thanos. Finally, there are Catwoman and Black Cat. In short, there are actually many similar characters between the two. In this Marvel and DC integrated world, Carl may see the funny scene after the two people who look like each other meet. I remember that the Black Cat Felicia Hardy in Marvel seems to live in Queens, NY as well. Queens is a relatively well-known place in the American comics world. Spider-Man, Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, all the famous names in the American comics world basically live here. And out of this world, Carl and Harley Quinn also live in Queens. In the small Queens district, many crouching dragons and phoenix chicks were born. Thief Catwoman has recently taken a fancy to a very valuable rare treasure. The existence of this rare treasure is also a clue that Catwoman accidentally discovered during a theft. According to the clues in hand, Catwoman has been tracking and searching during this time. In the end, Catwoman was convinced of the real existence of that rare treasure. According to the relevant information collected by Catwoman so far, the shape of that rare treasure is a cube. It is said that a powerful energy is contained in the cube, and it is currently being guarded by the military of America. According to clues and intelligence, this cube seems to come from alien technology, not a product on the Blue Star. In order to get that rare treasure, Catwoman knew that her strength alone was not enough. In other words, Catwoman can't even do the ability close to the military laboratory. To this end, Catwoman would like to find a powerful partner. Originally, she was still looking for suitable candidates, trying to seek cooperation among some powerful mutants known so far. But tonight Carl suddenly appeared on Gotham City, which made Catwoman's eyes shine when she just watched the Riddler's live broadcast. Because she had seen the news about Carl stopping the robbers at the NY City Bank before. According to media reports, Carl not only possesses amazing defensive power, but also has extremely fast flight speed. In addition, his strength is also amazing. Isn't this kind of powerful existence the best partner she wants? Just as Catwoman was rushing towards Carl's position non-stop, the tearing air sounds coming from a distance immediately caught Catwoman's attention. Looking up to the front, Carl floating in midair filled Catwoman's magnificent eyes with surprise. She wanted to find Carl, but unexpectedly, Carl took the initiative to find him. With such a precise lock on his position, doesn't this guy have some kind of tracking ability? In this world, Catwoman and Batman, who just debuted not long ago, don't know each other yet, so the two haven't played against each other so far. So, Catwoman and Batman don't act together, and the two don't even come from the same direction. And the most valuable place on Catwoman's path should be where the Riddler is. After all, nothing of value appeared on this route. And Catwoman, as an anti-hero who purely loves treasures, is impossible to rescue the hostages in the hands of the Riddler with good intentions. If it is really to save cognition, then Carl has to think about whether there is something wrong with the Catwoman in this world. Taking everything into consideration, Carl guessed that there is a high probability that Catwoman came to find him. Carl's floating figure slowly moved in front of Catwoman. Standing on the roof, Carl looked at the slender Catwoman in front of him, and said slowly, "I didn't expect to see the famous thief Catwoman tonight, but I don't know what important business Her Majesty Catwoman is looking for me." Catwoman stopped, and the figure jumped off the railing. Her graceful figure was perfectly outlined by the black slim uniform she was wearing. The long golden brown hair fell on her shoulders and was gently blown by the night wind. Even wearing a mask with cat ears could not completely conceal Catwoman's delicate face and dusty temperament. Are you so sure that I'm here to find you?" Catwoman fixed her eyes on Carl when she heard this, and frowned slightly. The mutant in the black battle suit didn't show any hostility, so Catwoman's heart is relatively calm. Just listening to Carl's words, the other party should have known of his existence for a long time. What's more, the other party may know his true identity. Thinking of such things made Catwoman very unhappy. Miss Catwoman likes priceless treasures, not some righteous superhero. You are approaching the direction where the Riddler is imprisoning the hostages. Apart from the Riddler, the hostage, and me, there is only the Bat Vigilante left. The Riddler is dead, and the hostages have left. The Bat Vigilante is cleaning up the scene. Does Miss Catwoman like the corpse of a super criminal like Riddler? Catwoman took a light breath. Carl's analysis made her speechless for a while. The opponent's analysis is indeed very logical, and the analysis is correct. How did you lock my location? Catwoman was silent for a few seconds and asked in a cool voice. It's simple, I have extraordinary hearing and vision abilities. So that's how it is. Catwoman suddenly understood. Taking a closer look at Carl standing in front of her, Catwoman's eyes also brightened. Catwoman has seen all kinds of people, but a handsome man with extraordinary strength like Carl is really too rare. At least Catwoman has not seen another person with the same conditions as him except Carl. Since Mr. has recognized me and knows my identity, I don't need to beat around the bush. To be precise, my purpose is indeed to find you. I want you to cooperate with me. Cooperation. Carl looked at Catwoman in surprise. It turned out that the other party deliberately approached for this kind of thing. Seeing that my ability is extraordinary, are you planning to invite yourself to join a gang and then go steal things together? Yes, sir, you don't have to rush to refuse. You will be interested in what I say next, sir. Oh, Carl raised his eyebrows and folded his arms with interest. I would like to hear more about it. Catwoman organized her language a little before she could tell what she knew about the special cube. Even if the conversation between the two is only for a short moment, Catwoman has already analyzed the logic of Carl's words that he is a smart person. And if you want to talk to such a smart person, or even invite the other party to cooperate with you, you must first have a valuable product that interests the other party. As for the chip that Catwoman can currently take out, definitely only the news of that special cube. Hearing the cubic object described by Catwoman, Carl initially thought it was the Space Gem, one of the 6 infinite gems in the Marvel Universe, which is currently called Tesseract by Nick Fury. But Catwoman described in detail that this cube is very large, and it seems that some kind of iron armor seal has been cast on it, and it is not blue, but the color that looks like bronze. Hearing this, Carl had vaguely guessed what Catwoman was talking about. The technology suspected to be from an alien planet contains astonishing energy. The shape is a cube structure, cast with iron armor seals, and the color of bronze. Carl couldn't think of anything other than the mother box that appeared in the movie Justice League. Whether it is in comics or movies, the mother box is an out-and-out treasure. The shape of the mother box described by Catwoman, in Carl's opinion, should be the mother box in the movie Zhanglian. There is nothing wrong with it. The mother box in DC Comics is completely different from the mother box in the movie. Recalling the information about the mother box, Carl frowned. The mother box in the movie is indeed a black technology, and it is also a black technology from the Apocalypse Star where the Dark Monarch Darkseid is located. In the Justice League movie, the superhero Cyborg died in a car accident, with only bones and brains remaining in half of his body. In this state, Cyborg can be rescued by his father using the special nature of the mother box, which shows the power of the mother box. Although the body of Cyborg has thus become a mechanical structure similar to the material of the mother box, it is actually a kind of sublimation compared to the original flesh and blood body. For Cyborg, this is undoubtedly a brand new path. After all, Cyborg can become a superhero just because it was transformed by the mother box. Carl is very clear that using the mother box to resurrect Cyborg and create a superhero is just one of the functions of the mother box. In addition to being indestructible, the mother box is originally a living machine, and it is a machine built using the extremely advanced Apocalypse Star technology. And this kind of machine really has the power to conquer the world. There are 3 mother boxes in Zhanglian movie world. When the 3 mother boxes are combined into one synchronously, it will form a unified force. The power of unity is so powerful that it will carry the fire to purify the entire planet. This speed of purification can be said to be almost instantaneous, and the planet swept by the power of unification, no matter how vibrant it was before, will eventually become a desolate wasteland world. And if there are creatures on the planet, after being baptized by the power of unification, these creatures will eventually become servants of the Dark Lord Darkseid, demons. Even the steel-bodied Superman can't resist the unified power released by the 3 mother boxes. In front of the mother box that can rearrange the molecular structure of matter, the powerful steel body has no ability to resist and can only be broken down abruptly. How about it, sir? I wonder if you are interested in this kind of treasure. Catwoman saw the change in Carl's expression and became happy in her heart. The change in Carl's expression was fully seen by Catwoman, and Catwoman could tell that the other party had become interested in the treasure he mentioned. It's just that for some reason, he didn't respond to himself right away. Chapter 34. Carl did not respond to Catwoman. At the moment he was checking the task triggered by the system just now. These several times of triggering tasks allowed Carl to summarize the conditions and rules for triggering system tasks. Quests can be triggered by just touching the world's superheroes, anti-heroes and supervillains. And after the female superhero, female anti-hero, and heroine trigger the mission, the reward integration progress is more than in other cases. Open black lens bracket ding. System task triggered. Promise Catwoman's cooperation. Close black lens bracket. Task reward. Steel body Superman template integration progress increased by 0.4%. Silver Superman template integration progress increased by 0.3%. Close black lens bracket. Tisk. The integration progress of the rewards has increased quite a lot. The total is 0.7%, and it's too easy to get the rewards just by agreeing to the cooperation request. This task is equivalent to the sum of the 2 previously triggered tasks. Carl had just turned off the prompt box triggered by the task in front of him with his thoughts, when he suddenly caught a glimpse of a string of text prompts in the lower left corner of his vision out of the corner of his eye. After killing the super criminal, Riddler, the integration progress of the steel body Superman template has increased 0.1%. It was this text prompt that was almost ignored by Carl, which made him extremely astonished. After reading this text several times, Carl realized that he was not dazzled. It turns out that if you kill these super criminals, you can also get the template integrate progress. Then if I accidentally kill the superhero, will it increase the template integrate progress? Carl couldn't help but guess. Sir. Hearing Catwoman's voice, Carl realized that there was a big living person standing beside him. In addition to the fact that the system task has been triggered, Carl naturally has no reason to refuse. Yes, Miss Catwoman, I am very interested in the thing you mentioned. But I don't have much free time right now, so how about it, you come to find me in NY tomorrow? After speaking, Carl raised his hand and handed out a business card. Catwoman looked at Carl in astonishment. She didn't see clearly where Carl took out this business card just now. Reaching out to take the business card, Catwoman had just seen the name and contact information on the business card clearly, and when she was about to raise her head to ask something, Carl had already disappeared. His name is Carl, a psychiatrist. Nick Fury would love to FK the world. The last time Carl killed the robbers in the bank, the impact was not small. And this time, Carl crushed the Riddler to death in front of the entire Gotham City audience. This undoubtedly pushed Mutant to the forefront again. In the eyes of ordinary people, people like Carl with super abilities are mutants. But Nick Fury knows that Carl is an eggy mutant. Although Nick Fury doesn't know where his super ability comes from, there are some special guys in this world. Therefore, it is not surprising that Carl can obtain super ability. The only thing that bothers Nick Fury is how to minimize the impact of Carl. Although Carl is currently killing criminals, he still scares some ordinary people. It's just that Nick Fury couldn't find Carl's real identity at all, which made Nick Fury, who wanted to chat with Carl, even more irritable. Just then, Nick Fury's subordinate, Phil Coulson, came over. "What's wrong?" Nick Fury asked Phil Coulson, frowning. "Superman flew to outer space to bask in the sun again." Superman. Nick Fury was clearly confused by the title. It's the title of that Mr. Carl. The abilities shown by Mr. Carl made the people on the internet give him a title. The title is Superman. Superman. Nick Fury's one eye was lost in thought. The abilities that Carl has shown so far include super amazing defense, super amazing speed, super amazing strength, and super amazing flight. In addition, the eyes can also release a very destructive heat vision with shockwave. Although these abilities possessed by Carl are all analyzed by S.H.I.E.L.D. from the video, it is enough to show that he is extraordinary. The title Superman, after thinking about it, really suits him very well. Looking at the satellite image of Carl bathing in the sun like a planetary god, Nick Fury took a deep breath. Nick Fury recalled the old friend Danforth, who hadn't been back for a long time, in his mind. I don't know who is stronger and who is weaker than Danfoss and Superman. After absorbing the solar radiation for a whole night, Carl's strength increased by a large amount. Because the template integration speed can be obtained every day, Carl's growth rate is also increasing after bathing in the sun every day. Even if the integration speed of the Steel Superman template and the Silver Superman template has only increased by a few tenths of a percent, Carl's growth rate is still amazing under the superposition of the two templates. The increase in physical fitness not only allows cells to store more energy, but also allows Carl to make an amazing discovery. It turns out that the Kryptonian cells can not only store the energy of solar radiation, but also use the solar radiation released by the yellow fixed star to open deeper cells. At the end of the day, sunlight is just the key to awakening the power of Superman. The reason why Superman is so powerful is because he was originally very powerful. No wonder the Kryptonians can become stronger than multi-universe just by absorbing the energy of fixed star. Chapter 35. Carl felt the subtle changes in his body, and he couldn't help but let out a sound of wonder. Clicking on my own personal attribute panel with my thoughts, I grew up overnight, causing subtle changes in Carl's strength and speed, and even the description of the basic ability. Host. Carl. Current integrate template. Steel body Superman template integrate degree. 4.2%. Silver Superman template integrate degree. 0.8%. The progress of the template to be unlocked in the next level 1 stage. 0% template to be unlocked. Thinking Machine Superman. Current strength. 19,555 tons. Current speed. Mach 29. Natural resistance. 9,999% resistance to kryptonite. Awakening ability. Hot site. It can release high temperature of 113,000 degrees Celsius, with powerful impact. Open black lens bracket perspective close black lens bracket. Eyes can see through most of the world's substances, but they cannot see through lead. Open black lens bracket microscopic close black lens bracket. It can observe the structure of the molecular level in the microscopic state. Open black lens bracket supervision close black lens bracket. Can cover an area of more than half a planet. Super hearing. Hearing without media is enough to cover half a planet. Open black lens bracket energy absorption close black lens bracket. It can absorb yellow solar radiation to grow, replenish energy, and repair body injuries very quickly. Man of Steel elementary level, it can barely resist the destructive power of nuclear bomb level. Biological stance can greatly expand the biological stance, and have an impact on the surrounding physical rules, so as to obtain an amazing flight speed. Super brain, the brain area is greatly developed, and the calculation and learning speed are extremely fast. Super breathing, you can exhale the freezing breath that can instantly drop the temperature to -80 degrees Celsius, and the powerful lung function can set off a strong typhoon comparable to level 14. Spiritual resistance, Silver Superman, your current mental resistance value is 5 feet. Carl can naturally see how obvious the changes in his property panel are. One night passed, and the strength was only a step away from breaking through the 20,000 mark. In addition to strength, Carl's movement speed has also reached a terrifying Mach 29. Converted to the speed per second, Carl's speed has already reached more than 9,800 meters per second. At a speed close to 10,000 meters per second, Carl relied on his steel body and a huge force of nearly 20,000 tons to drop it from a high altitude, and the destructive force produced was unimaginable. With the improvement of template integrate progress, the growth of strength and speed has indeed accelerated a lot. Not only that, but the basic abilities held by Carl have also grown. The maximum temperature released by the heat sight has increased by 3,000 degrees. At the same time, Carl's defense ability has changed from being unable to resist nuclear bombs to being able to barely resist nuclear bombs. The new awakening super breathing ability makes Carl's attack methods more perfect. Definitely, what Carl cares most about is the new ability marked with the Silver Superman suffix. Mental resistance. A strange look flashed across Carl's face. This ability is displayed with the suffix of Silver Superman, that is to say, this ability comes from the Silver Superman template. Is it because of the I'm thinking ability possessed by Silver Superman? After I got in touch with Charles, I realized that Superman has nothing to do with mind-controlling ability. The blood of Silver Superman made me awakening the ability of mind resistance. Then why when I met Daredevil before, I wanted to block perception abilities but couldn't awakening? Could it be because my sense of crisis was not strong enough at the time? Carl's face was ponderous, and he kept thinking about the reason that prompted the awakening ability of the Silver Superman's bloodline. It's just that the mental resistance of 5 belongs to what level? Just when Carl was wondering, he suddenly received an explanation from the system in his mind. According to the system, a mental resistance of 5 is enough to resist the control of a mental ability user of Charles's level. When he heard the news, Carl was extremely shocked. The ability that I just awakened can resist the world's top mind and mind control ability like Charles. It seems that the ability of mental resistance still has a lot of room for growth. If I continue to bask in the sun later, these abilities will still grow. The newly added mental resistance ability made Carl realize that even the Silver Superman bloodline with a very low degree of integration is far less weak than he thought. After all, the Silver Superman bloodline did give him the ability he needed. It seems that I have to pay more attention to the power of thinking of Silver Superman. Carl looked away, closed the personal attribute panel interface, and then chose to return to NY City. Standing on the roof of the apartment building, Carl enjoys the morning breeze, and his whole body is particularly energetic. The blood of Superman has gradually improved Carl's physical fitness. Now he no longer needs to sleep like ordinary people, and only needs to bask in the sun to maintain his energy forever. The internal changes are significant, and Carl's external changes are even more obvious. Compared with when he just got the Superman blood, Carl's skin has become fairer and healthier. The handsome facial features are very deep and three-dimensional, highlighting the handsomeness and at the same time faintly showing the gentleness of sunshine. This very friendly and handsome appearance is enough to make all the opposite sex shine. Only, Carl reached out and pinched the curvy bangs on his forehead, feeling a little depressed. I remember this little curly hair on the forehead, it seems to be the classic hairstyle of Superman. Is this little curly hair because I have the blood of Superman? Carl just thought of this when a familiar figure walked out of the corridor in front of him. Seeing that Carl was really moving his body on the rooftop at the moment, Gwen stepped forward lightly and said, "Hello, Mr. Carl, you are here indeed." "Gwen, good morning." Carl looked at Gwen walking beside him, and couldn't help but smile back. "My mother made some crabs last night and was thinking of sending them to you, but Mr. Carl doesn't seem to be at home. Please like and subscribe.